What if the toughest part of a bull could end up on a rich man's office desk? Not as a trophy, not as decoration, but as the frame of a briefcase worth thousands of dollars. Sounds impossible. A horn is hard. It is rough. Looks nothing like soft leather. But somewhere between a farm and a luxury store, something incredible happens. And almost nobody outside the industry knows how it works. Today, we go inside that hidden world. The world where bull horns are turned into some of the most expensive accessories on earth. But before we see the finished product, we have to go back to where it all begins, on a dusty farm, with one truck and a long road ahead. This story matters because most people never think about where luxury goods come from. We see a beautiful briefcase in a store window. We admire the shine. We touch the smooth handle. But we never ask the real question. What was this before it became beautiful? The answer takes us through farms, trucks, factories, and the hands of skilled workers. It takes us through heat, chemicals, and hours of careful shaping. It is a journey most people will never see with their own eyes. By the end of this video, you will never look at a leather briefcase the same way again. Let's start where every horn begins its journey. On a farm, with a Brahman bull standing in the morning sun. Brahman cattle are known for one thing above all else: their horns. Long, curved, strong horns that grow for years. Farmers raise these animals for many reasons. Meat is one of them. But horns are never wasted. In fact, horns have become one of the most valuable parts of the animal. This is where our story truly begins. On a quiet morning, a truck pulls into the farm. Workers move carefully. Ramps are set up. One by one, the cattle are guided up into the truck. The truck doors close. The engine starts. And the journey begins. This is not a short trip. Sometimes it takes hours. The truck moves along long roads, past fields, past small towns, past nothing but open land. Dust rises behind the tires. The sun climbs higher in the sky. Nobody watching this truck would guess what it truly carries. To most people on the road, it just looks like any other farm vehicle. But inside, it carries the very first step of a process that will end in a luxury store thousands of miles away. The truck finally reaches its destination. A large factory building appears in the distance. The truck slows down. It turns into the factory gate. Then it stops near the unloading area. Ramps are lowered again. Workers open the back doors. One by one, the cattle step down from the truck and are guided into holding pens inside the facility. This moment matters more than most people realize. It is the exact point where the farm world ends and the factory world begins. But here is where the story gets even more interesting, because most people assume the horn is simply cut off and shipped away. That is not the full truth. What happens next is far more complex than anyone expects. Once the animals move through the facility's normal processing stages, the horns are separated and collected. This part is treated differently from every other part of the animal. Workers know that these horns hold hidden value. Value that most customers walking through a shopping mall could never imagine. The horns are placed into large collection bins. From here, they begin a completely new journey. Not toward a farm, not toward a market, but toward a transformation. This is where the real magic begins. At first glance, a raw horn looks nothing special. It is dark, rough, and covered in dirt. It smells strong. It looks heavy and lifeless. If you saw a pile of these horns on the ground, you would probably assume they were waste material, something to be thrown away. But skilled workers see something completely different. They see hidden shine. They see hidden strength. They see the beginning of something beautiful. The first step is cleaning. Workers wash the horns thoroughly, removing dirt, debris, and rough outer material. This step alone can take hours. Every horn is different in size, shape, and thickness. There is no shortcut here. Each piece must be handled with care. Then comes something surprising. The horns are boiled.
Yes, boiled. Just like you might boil vegetables in a kitchen, these horns are placed into large tanks of hot water. The heat softens the outer layer, making it easier to work with. This step changes everything. Once softened, the horn becomes flexible. Workers can now begin shaping it. But wait, here's the surprising part.
This stage requires speed. If workers wait too long, the horn cools and hardens again. Every second counts. Skilled hands move quickly, using specialized tools to begin cutting, flattening, or curving the horn into the shapes needed for different products. But this is just the beginning of the transformation. After shaping, the material must be treated to remove any remaining smell, bacteria, or roughness. This is where things get technical. Factories use different chemical treatments to clean, disinfect, and strengthen the material. These treatments help protect the final product from cracking or rotting over time. Without this step, no luxury company would ever accept the material. Then comes polishing. Endless polishing. Machines and hand tools work together to smooth every surface. What was once rough and dull begins to shine. Layer by layer, the natural texture becomes visible. Deep browns, rich blacks. Sometimes even golden streaks appear, patterns that look almost painted by nature itself. At this stage, most people wouldn't even recognize this material as something that once came from a farm animal. But we're still not finished. Because horn material alone doesn't make a briefcase. This is where leather enters the story. Most luxury briefcases use high-quality leather for their main body. The horn material is often used for smaller but extremely important parts: handles, buckles, decorative panels, or structural framing pieces. These small parts are exactly what make a briefcase stand out from ordinary designer bags. Here's something that might surprise you. In the luxury fashion world, horn material is prized because no two pieces look exactly the same. Every horn has its own natural pattern, its own unique color blend. This means every finished product becomes one of a kind. No factory machine can copy nature's design. This uniqueness is part of what makes these products so expensive. Now, the material is ready to be paired with leather. Skilled leather workers begin cutting fabric panels with precision. Every measurement matters. Single mistake could ruin an expensive piece of material. Stitching begins next. In many workshops, this part is done entirely by hand. Machines can sew fast, but hand stitching allows for greater strength and detail, especially where leather meets horn material. Workers carefully attach horn pieces as decorative or functional elements, sometimes as handles, sometimes as clasps, sometimes as elegant trim along the edges. Every added piece increases both the beauty and the value of the final product. But here comes an unexpected twist. This process is far from over. After assembly, the entire piece goes through quality inspection. This step alone can eliminate a large percentage of products. Even a tiny scratch or uneven stitch can cause an item to be rejected. Luxury brands cannot afford mistakes. A reputation depends on perfection. If a briefcase passes inspection, it moves to final finishing touches, polishing hardware, adding brand logos, and preparing it for packaging. Only then is it ready to leave the factory. By now, you might be wondering something important. Why does all of this matter? Why do people pay thousands of dollars for a briefcase made this way? The answer lies in effort, time, and rarity. Think about everything this material went through. Long truck ride, careful processing, boiling, shaping, polishing, hand stitching, quality checks. Every single step required human skill. Machines could never replace this level of craftsmanship completely. That is exactly why luxury buyers are willing to pay so much. For them, a briefcase like this isn't just a bag. It is a piece of art, a symbol of status, a product of history and tradition. But there's something even bigger happening here, something most people never consider. This industry supports thousands of workers around the world. Farmers, truck drivers, factory workers, leather crafters, designers, store owners. Each person plays a role in this long chain, a chain that starts on a quiet farm and ends in a glamorous store window. Without any single step, the final product could never exist. This is why understanding the full journey matters so much. It shows us that luxury isn't magic. It's the result of many hands working together, many hours of labor, and centuries of traditional skill passed down through generations. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Around the world, industries like this one are changing. Modern factories are adopting new technology, improving efficiency, and focusing on sustainability. Many companies now emphasize using every part of an animal, reducing waste, and ensuring ethical treatment throughout the process. From farm to factory floor, consumers today are more curious than ever about where their products come from. They want transparency. They want to understand the true story behind luxury items. This growing curiosity has pushed many companies to open their doors, showing customers exactly how their products are made, from the truck ride at the very beginning to the final polish at the very end. And this brings us back to our original question. What if a bullhorn could become one of the most valuable materials in the fashion world? The answer, as we've seen, is yes, it absolutely can. Through incredible human skill, patience, and tradition, something that once seemed rough and ordinary can transform into a masterpiece. A piece of natural art that no machine could ever fully replicate. The next time you see a luxury leather briefcase in a shop window, you might look at it differently. You might picture the truck ride, the factory floor, the boiling water, the skilled hands shaping every curve. You might realize that true luxury isn't just about price. It's about the incredible journey behind every single piece. So here's the real question to leave you with. Knowing everything this process involves, would you look at a luxury product the same way again? If this story surprised you, let us know in the comments. Tell us what shocked you the most about this hidden industry. And if you enjoyed learning something new today, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more incredible stories from around the world. Stories that reveal the truth behind everyday things we often take for granted. Because sometimes, the most amazing stories are hiding in the places we least expect.